Indy 103.1.
KDLD Santa Monica. KDLE Newport Beach.
This is the Independent FM.
Indy 103.1.
Here we go.
And then I fade into the crowds of people standing everywhere. Across the street I'm at the Slop Affair. And here they always play my songs. And me, I wonder if it's...
What does fable mean?
Well, I mean, the idea of the fabled city was it's about the idea that for millions of people, that it's poverty that keeps them from being able to become who it was they were meant to be. Yeah. You know, like around the world, just crushing poverty. Like, I'm really lucky. I think I was born to become a musician, and I grew up in a Midwestern neighborhood and was able to have a guitar and a stereo to listen to it and sort of figure it out. Yeah. But for a lot of people, you know, you can't have the boutiques in Beverly Hills without the sweatshops in Indonesia. I mean, for a lot of people, there's just not that choice, you know.
Yeah.
So that was the idea behind that.
You can't have a lot of gardens in Beverly Hills without
exactly.
Spanish people.
Exactly. So,
you know, when you see these countries that are like obviously haven't got a pot to piss in, but they always seem kind of happy, in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
They live in shacks and they ain't got nothing. I mean, I don't know if they're just smiling because there's a camera around.
Well, I think the human condition is you can get used to anything, but is it right? You know?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. But I don't know. I think we got a lot of evolving to do before everyone kind of gets a fair deal.
Absolutely.
But I like his philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think is really healthy about that is that it's a real unfiltered. You know, like there's no censorship on that show.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's going to say what he wants to say. And that's one thing that, you know, I think that people respond to, whether it's in your music or whether it's in Rage or whether it's in this Night Watchman stuff, which you can't ever get in the world of electoral politics, is someone really being honest. You know, and really being, you know, like unfiltered in what they're saying. So
I'll tell you what I watched the other day, which was this for me, this summed it up. That it was one of them TV shows on Channel 7, you know, mainstream TV, and they had Obama and they had McCain, and the woman interviewed both of them separately, but they had both. Right. And the woman said to McCain, "So, what's your favourite movie?" Mm-hmm. And of course, he comes up with a movie that just totally fits, you know, his deal. Yeah. It was a Marlon Brando movie where he's a Mexican, and it's about how he was, you know, he was so patriotic and. You know, it was just bull. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then they go to Obama and ask him, well, what's one of your favourite movies? He's like, oh, Godfather. Just like a normal normal reaction.
That might be someone's favourite movie. Yeah.
And then he goes, yeah, I'm a music. You know, he's like normal. Right. You know what I mean? And I just don't...
He likes Jay-Z.
Yeah. I just don't understand. If you didn't know both of these guys, you didn't know what colour they was, right, and you just heard them, you got to be a moron to think this guy is the guy, the McCain guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not. I always say this. I know nothing about politics, but I go with my instinct. Well, what you're being sold, you know, and it's you can go either way. Yeah. Rage, you got the same kind of vibe as the Sex Pistols, where you have this kind of, you know, not sell out kind of vibe. Yeah. And
stick it to the man kind of vibe.
Yeah. Now, I think that does work, and you can't sell out. It's like, you know, like when there's certain things that like go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right. That we kind of...
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Didn't show up.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was thinking, you know what, maybe we should go. And then John said, you know what, let's not go, that's lame. Yeah. And then he talked me into it, and then I thought, he's right, we shouldn't go. Right. And so glad that we didn't, because we would have lost some punters. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Because it is a lame thing.
It's a pretty... I've been in that room. I inducted the Clash into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and AC/DC was that same year too. And I was at the sound check, you know, during the day. And one thing that seemed so not rock and roll about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was AC/DC is playing Back in Black in this room, and I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like thrashing about like a mad punter, and no one else in the room is even paying attention.
They don't even know what they're playing.
And I'm like, this is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a band called AC/DC playing Back in Black, and no one's paying attention except me. I was thinking, that's maybe not so Hall of Famey.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's all
But that's,
about.
I mean, one of the.
The great guitar sound of today is Gibson. Gibson is used by more top groups and players than any other guitar. Every Gibson is the finest guitar of its style. Try a Gibson at your Selma dealers.
So then it's coming back to the big city.
Do you like Los Angeles?
I have a love-hate relationship with it. You know, I've lived here for a long time, but if I never saw the corner of Sunset and Gower again, I'd be all right.
I love it here personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
What I notice is when I go away from LA,
Yeah.
and I watch stuff from LA,
Right.
like them stupid E channels and all that.
Exactly.
I'm like, that place is retarded.
Home sweet home.
Yeah, the people, like, you know, what they're talking about.
But it's such a huge city, too. You know, like it's, you know, greater Los Angeles area, was it 8 million people? So it's like, there's not really one Los Angeles.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different,
Yeah.
sometimes it.
I love it. I love it. I wouldn't think of anywhere else.
Yeah, you get spoiled living here too, though.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's you know, the grass sometimes seems greener, but you move. And there's probably 3 counties in this whole country where, you know, you can, you know, where you walk down the street like with an interracial date, or where they're like, you know, gay people can hold hands and not get beat up with baseball bats, and so it's nice to be in one of the places that's a little bit more civilized.
San Francisco, New York.
Yep, that's it.
Is Chicago?
It's
a bit dodgy still.
I'd say, other than those 3, it's kind of dodgy out there.
You don't want to walk down the ends holding the guy's hand.
You don't want no, unless no, not so much.
Why do you think people are racial? Is it fear?
I mean, that's hard. I mean, it's really, in this country, it's, you know, there's always kind of like sort of fear of the outsider, or the belief that every new wave of immigrants in this country has been considered a threat. You know, whether it was the Irish, or whether it was the Italians, or whether it was this one or that one. But I think that fear is a big part of it. But also, it's a way to divide and rule people. You know, because you find that. You know, Mexican Americans and African Americans and, you know, white people and this and that of working class and poor and working class have a lot more in common with one another than they do with the delegates at the RNC. Yet if you're able to exploit, you know, racial tensions between them, you can get them or you know, issues like gay marriage or things like that, which really don't matter so much when the economy's in the toilet and when we're committing war crimes overseas. Really shouldn't matter that much, but it's a good way to divide people and get them, you know, get the underclasses biting at one another rather than realizing who holds the leash.
So it's a sense of control then?
I think so. That's always been a part of it, an important part of it.
Yeah. It seems like you can only go so far in America. If you're a threat to the government, it kind of stops at a certain level. Like, let's say, the Black Panthers.
Yeah, sure.
It got to a certain level, and all of a sudden it's like kind of...
Yeah. Well, yeah, when
the man, you know, puts his thumb down, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's, you know, whether it's Malcolm X or Martin Luther King Jr. or, you know, whenever you become that kind of threat, then there's certainly a backlash.
I mean, there's a lot of talk that, let's say in England, America, that there's been like 5 families that have kind of called the shots since the beginning of time. Like that bloodline.
Yeah. In England or in... You know,
and both.
Yeah.
Both. There's a connection. You know, and do you think there's some truth to that? Is it just like hogwash?
I don't know. That sounds maybe it's like a little bit hogwash. I think it has less to do maybe with family lines than it does with cash, you know.
Yeah.
And if you really, you know, if you can't find the criminal, follow the pipeline. You know, it's like, seriously, like that's you know, where I think at the end of the day the ball rests.
You've been listening to Jonesy's Jukebox on Indie 103.1 with my guest Tom Morello.
Let's get it done this year, people. Come
Yeah.
on. Come on.
Chicago Cubs.
There we are. I know you're a big baseball fan. I can tell.
I can't wait. I'll see you all tomorrow at 12 bells. Bye-bye.
Indy 1031.